There is a feeling that is becoming strangely common. You wake up, you check your phone. There are messages waiting for you, emails you should answer, things you forgot yesterday, things you need to do today. You get dressed, you go to work, you come home tired, you eat. You watch something, you scroll, you sleep. And somewhere between all of this, a thought quietly follows you. This can't be it, not because your life is terrible. Sometimes nothing is obviously wrong. You may have a job, friends, plans, a place to live, things you once wanted. And still there is this strange feeling that your real life has not started yet, that you are in some preliminary version of it, a loading screen. You are working toward the real thing. When you earn more money, when you finally get in shape, when you move, when you find the right person, when your career becomes clearer, when you become more confident, when you are less tired, when things calm down, then finally you will arrive. But there is a disturbing possibility most people avoid considering. What if nothing ever announces your arrival? What if there is no moment when life suddenly changes from preparation into reality? What if this is already the part you will eventually miss? Modern life is extremely good at making the present feel temporary. Almost everything around you points forward. Your phone tells you what is happening next. Your calendar tells you where you need to be later. Your banking app shows you what you are accumulating. Your fitness app shows you the body you are trying to build. Your career becomes a ladder. Your house becomes an investment. Your hobbies become side businesses. Even rest becomes preparation for being productive again tomorrow. You are constantly being trained to look at your current life as raw material for a better future one. And there is nothing inherently wrong with improving your life. The problem begins when improvement becomes your only way of relating to it. You stop experiencing today. You evaluate it. Was I productive enough? Did I train enough? Did I save enough money? Did I move closer to my goals? Did I waste too much time? Everything becomes a progress bar. And when every day is measured by what it produces for the future, the present begins to feel strangely empty. It becomes transportation, a hallway between where you were and where you hope to be. Years can disappear inside that hallway. This is one reason an ancient philosopher like Marcus Aurelius can feel unexpectedly modern. He lived in a completely different world. But he had one advantage over us. He was painfully aware that time was disappearing. Not theoretically, personally. He repeatedly reminded himself that his position, his reputation, the people around him, and eventually his own body would vanish. That can sound depressing until you understand what the idea is supposed to do. It is not asking you to think about death all day. It is asking you to stop treating life like something you have stored somewhere. You don't possess 10 years. You don't possess next summer. You don't possess next Friday. Those are expectations. The only part of your life that ever appears in reality arrives in extremely small pieces. This morning. This conversation, this meal, this walk, this hour, and then it disappears, which creates a strange contradiction. We often sacrifice the only life that is actually happening in order to prepare for a life that exists mostly in imagination. You can see this everywhere. Someone spends years saying they will travel when they have more money. Then they earn more money and discover they have less time. Someone spends their 20s trying to become successful enough to finally relax. Then success increases their responsibilities. Someone tells themselves they will become social when they feel more confident. But confidence never arrives because they continue avoiding the situations that could create it. Someone keeps waiting for the perfect moment to start a business. Someone else keeps waiting to leave one. Another person is waiting to call their parents more often, to start training, to write, to learn, to ask someone out, to apologize, to change cities, to stop drinking, to stop returning to someone who keeps hurting them. Almost nobody describes this as wasting their life. It feels responsible. That is what makes it dangerous, because procrastination does not always look like lying on a couch doing nothing. Sometimes procrastination looks like research, planning, organizing, preparing, optimizing, watching another video about how to begin. There is a version of avoidance that looks almost identical to ambition. The internet has made this even harder to notice. There has probably never been a time when humans could observe so many possible lives. Open your phone and within 5 minutes you can see someone younger than you making more money, someone with a better body, someone traveling somewhere beautiful, someone getting married, someone buying a house, someone announcing a company, someone explaining the perfect morning routine, someone telling you that if you are not waking up at 5, building a business, investing, training, meditating, and reading 50 books a year, you are falling behind. It creates a bizarre psychological environment. You are not comparing your life with one person. You are comparing it with thousands of edited fragments of thousands of lives. One person's career, another person's relationship, another person's body, another person's house, another person's discipline. Then your mind quietly combines all of them into a single imaginary human being and asks, "Why aren't you like that?" Of course you feel behind. You invented someone who does not exist and started racing them. And once you feel behind, the present becomes even harder to enjoy. Because enjoying your current life can begin to feel like complacency. You sit outside doing nothing for 20 minutes and part of your mind asks whether you should be doing something useful. You spend an evening with people you love and still check your phone. You take a vacation and photograph half of it. You finish one goal and almost immediately begin thinking about the next. The moment itself barely has time to become real before it becomes content, evidence, memory, or preparation. We have become extremely good at recording our lives, sometimes not as good at inhabiting them. This is where the Stoic idea of control becomes much more interesting than the motivational version of it. People often reduce it to, "Don't worry about things you cannot control." But the deeper question is, where is your life actually taking place? Not inside the promotion you may receive, not inside the person you hope someone becomes, not inside the version of yourself you imagine 5 years from now. Your life keeps arriving in the place where you can actually act. Now, that does not mean ignoring the future. It means refusing to live there permanently. Because your future self is becoming one of the most overworked people in existence. You keep giving them assignments. Future you will become disciplined. Future you will fix your sleep. Future you will deal with that relationship. Future you will start saving. Future you will become brave enough. Future you will finally know what they are doing. But future you has one serious problem. Every time they arrive, they become present you. And present you keeps delegating the job forward. Maybe this is why so many years feel shorter in retrospect than they did while we were living them. A year can contain hundreds of ordinary mornings. But memory compresses repetition. The commute disappears. The scrolling disappears. The evenings spent half watching something while looking at another screen disappear. The weeks in which nothing unusual happened collapse into almost nothing. Then suddenly, you are looking at an old photograph and realizing that something you still think of as recent happened 6 years ago. The person in the photograph thought they had plenty of time. They probably had plans, problems, things they were worried about, things they were waiting for. And now that entire period exists as a few images on a phone. That is what time does, quietly. It does not normally announce that it is leaving. So perhaps the solution is not to become obsessed with productivity. Maybe it is almost the opposite, to become more selective about what deserves your finite attention. There will always be another notification, another video, another argument, another person whose opinion you could worry about, another metric you could improve, another version of yourself you could chase. The world can generate infinite demands. You cannot generate infinite life. At some point you have to decide what deserves a piece of it, and that decision cannot remain theoretical. If your family matters, at some point that belief has to become a phone call. If your health matters, eventually it has to become a walk, a meal, a night of sleep. If the work matters, it has to become a difficult hour in which you actually begin. If someone matters, eventually you have to put the phone down while they are speaking. Otherwise, these things remain values only in language. Your calendar tells the truth more accurately. Your attention tells the truth. Your behavior tells the truth. This does not mean every moment needs to be meaningful. That would become another exhausting project. Some days are boring. Some weeks are difficult. Some periods of life genuinely are preparation. You may need to work hard now for something you want later. The problem is not sacrifice. The problem is believing that sacrifice time somehow does not count as life. It does. The difficult year counts. The uncertain year counts. The year when you are still learning counts. The year before you find the relationship counts. The year before the money counts. The year before you become who you think you are supposed to become counts. There is no deleted scene, no rehearsal, no waiting room. And maybe the most uncomfortable part is this: the life you keep imagining may arrive and still feel ordinary. You may eventually get the apartment, the salary, the body, the relationship, the freedom. And then one Tuesday morning you will wake up there. There will be dishes in the sink. Something will hurt. You will have emails. Someone will annoy you. You will be worried about something else. Because life does not feel extraordinary just because you reached a goal. Eventually everything becomes Tuesday. That is not tragic. It is actually useful to understand. Because if you cannot learn to inhabit an ordinary Tuesday now, no achievement can permanently rescue you from ordinary Tuesdays later. The scenery changes. Your relationship with existence comes with you. So maybe the question is not, when will my life finally begin? Maybe the better question is, what would change if I stopped treating today like a draft? You might still work toward the promotion, still save money, still train, still build something, still want more. But you would stop making a deal with yourself that says you are allowed to live only after you succeed. You could build the future without abandoning the present. You could take your ambitions seriously without treating your current self as an inconvenience. You could understand that becoming someone is not a process that eventually ends. You are already becoming someone. Today is part of the process. This hour is part of it. Even the boring parts are part of it, especially the boring parts. One day, without realizing it, you will do something for the last time. You will leave a place for the last time, speak to someone for the last time, walk through a room for the last time. Experience an ordinary morning you would have appreciated more if someone had told you it was disappearing. But nobody tells us. That is the arrangement. We get the moment, we do not get the label, and maybe that is why attention matters so much. Not because every second has to be dramatic, but because your life is made almost entirely from things that seem unimportant while they are happening. A cup of coffee, a boring drive, a joke somebody makes, a dog growing older beside you. Your parents answering the phone, a friend who still lives nearby, a body that still works without you thinking about it, an evening when nothing went wrong. These things rarely announce themselves as valuable. Usually we discover their value when they are gone. So keep your plans, build the career, make the money, change your life, become stronger, go somewhere, create something worth creating. But do not spend 10 years staring at the loading screen. There is nothing waiting behind it. There is no hidden version of your existence where everything finally becomes real. The screen you are looking at right now is the game. This morning counted. Yesterday counted. The next hour will count too. Your life is not about to start. It already did. The question is whether you are going to be here for it.